You know the drill. My favorite games from the year 2002 this time. I don't think I need to add anything else. Seems simple enough to understand, but having such a short intro feels wrong somehow. But let's just get started. GTA Vice City. In the last video about my favorite games from 2001, I talked about how GTA 3 did not make the jump into my favorites, but here it is, my second favorite GTA game and also the first one I played at a friend's house since I mostly wasn't allowed to play games not for my age. There was just something so cool about being able to just drive around and being able to get out of the car and just do whatever you wanted to do while feeling like a cool mother trucker, jamming out to the funky soundtrack and having such a big world to explore. At least at the time, because if I see the map nowadays, it just makes me think, this can't be real, it felt way bigger, it can't be this small actually. Obviously, hearing bad words you weren't really allowed to hear, and shooting people and going on a murder rampage because it was just really fun to do. When you were younger, you didn't really care about the story and just wanted to do some crazy stunts and other things till you grow at least a bit older and replay it again and actually listen to what the characters say during story missions, because it's actually a pretty fun story too. But I will never forgive you, Vance. Vance kinda sounds like me. I assure you, I'm not a bad person. Gita Wu Man, my favorite rhythm game. There's just something so nice about the whole vibe of the game. You're just a dorky loser who has no luck with anything, but suddenly some little devil dude comes into your place, your dog turns into a robot dog and throws a guitar to you, and you turn into some cool but not so cool looking dude that can play guitar really well, and you have to save a whole different planet from some evil dude while playing the guitar. The songs are all great and there's a lot of variety. The only song that kinda sucks is the one where a big robot is following you while you're also inside of a big robot. It sounds cool, but the song itself isn't cool. Aside from that, it's just banger after banger after banger and it's just really fun. It's also not extremely hard, at least not on normal, so even if you normally suck at games like these like I do, it's fun, and it's fun to also learn the game on harder difficulty. Because there, it will kick your butt, but most likely only for a bit till you find out how to play the song. I really wish we would get a sequel one day, or at least a remaster, so maybe we can show that the market is there for another one. Hopefully. We wouldn't deserve a second game if it would not sell well again, so I really wish there would be a second one. You know, I kinda miss this kind of quirky Japanese kind of game. It reminds me in a way of Ape Escape 3 or the Ape Escape series in general. Something that was amazing back in the day and is still amazing nowadays, but nowadays nobody makes games like these anymore. But I would sound like a boomer, so I should stop. Arx Fatalis. I played it for the first time recently and it was a great time. It's the first game by Arcane, the developers who are known for the Dishonored series nowadays, or the rebooted Prey, or one of their other older underrated games, Dark Messiah of Might and Magic. It's an immersive sim, or whatever kids call these things nowadays. I really don't like the term, and you can feel it. For example, you can combine water with flour, which turns into bread dough, and then you can take the bread dough and put it into an open fire and it turns into actual bread. You know a game is great when you can bake bread like this. It also has a rune magic system where you hold down a button and then draw the sign of it with the mouse to use the spell, which can not always work the way you want to on modern systems, and in general it is recommended to play it with the Arx Libertatis mod to have a nice smooth experience without crashes, etc. In a way the game reminds me of Gothic, but in first person. You need to sit down and be patient with it and some of its older aspects, but if you do, you get rewarded with such a rewarding experience because the mechanics and options you have in this game are great. Also look at this, you put the cheese down and the rats eat the cheese. Holy frick, that is amazing. Cheese eating rats in a video game. Metroid Prime, my first Metroid game, and I only knew Samus because of Smash, without even knowing she was a woman at that point. One day on the flea market I saw it, and the German version had like a sticker on top of the cover from the German Nintendo magazine that gave it a 96% out of 100%, and my little brain thought, wait, that's almost like a full score, that's almost like 100, this can't suck, right? So I got home and put it into my GameCube and the game just blew my mind with its graphics. At this point I mostly only know Nintendo 64 games. It was also one of the first games I had for my GameCube, aside from like Mario Kart Double Dash, which was a jump from the Nintendo 64 Mario Kart, but it wasn't like this jump that Metroid Prime was for me. I didn't have anything to compare to in terms of how the game played and looked, but it wowed me. It made me think, how? And even nowadays when I sometimes replay the game, it makes me think, how does this still look so good? It's like timeless. Something about it just wows me. Obviously, now there's also the remastered version that I haven't played yet, but eventually I will buy it. And mostly when I want to replay these games, or like Metroid Prime here, because the other ones didn't come out in 2002, I just play it on the trilogy for the Wii, and because I mostly like the controls the most. I love the motion controls from the trilogy, and I'm one of those people. I love motion controls when they're good. The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. I think every mainline Zelda game will end up in these videos except for maybe Skyward Sword, depending on how strong the year 2011 was. Just like Metroid Prime, I bought it on a flea market again and it was the first Zelda I owned on a console. The only other ones I owned was the original Link's Awakening and the Oracle of Ages and Seasons games. But I played a lot of Ocarina of Time on a friend's Nintendo 64 together with him, which gave me the special binding with the series. Playing through a game together after school all the time just kinda hit different. But anyways, this was my first 3D Zelda that I played myself, and the ocean gave you such a feeling of adventure. It was amazing. As a kid you don't care about things like how empty it can actually be at points, you were just flashed from the vastness and the great art style. Looked like a playable cartoon. How could anyone dislike that? Kinda blows my mind. There were actual people who were mad at the style back in the day, but luckily those people lost. I know there's Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks, but one day I really want the specific shell-shaded look to come back for 3D Zeldas. Maybe a hot take here, but I never really liked Skyward Sword's look, and even Breath of the Wild's look kinda feels off to me sometimes, so this kind of shell-shaded look, I wish it would make a comeback one day. Super Mario Sunshine. I think people who don't like Mario Sunshine are the kind of people who probably don't do their own laundry and don't know how to use a washing machine and also only change their socks and underwear every 2 to 4 days instead of daily. And that's valid too, kinda. I won't judge you. Just a bit. Mario Sunshine just feels like going on a real vacation, which I can't really judge since I have never been on a real vacation. But real vacations are full of fun, just like Sunshine, but also maybe frustrating parts like getting scammed and losing too much money, or stepping on a dead jellyfish on the beach that will sting like a bitch for a while before getting back to the hotel and getting bed bugs that you will bring back home with you. That's how a real vacation kind of feels like. Just like how the frustrating parts in Sunshine represent that. That's what the blue coins mean, because I have no idea what they were thinking with them. They just suck, just like bed bugs. I'm fine with the obvious blue coins sometimes here and there, but I refuse to believe someone ever found all of them without a guide. I refuse. I will brand you as a liar if you say you did find them all without a guide. Also, can we talk about how the name Flood just kinda sucks? Flash Liquidizer Ultra Dosing Device? Who came up with such a lame name? In Germany, we call it the Dreckweg 0817 or 0817, which basically translates to trash away because you make the trash go away. Dreckweg, trash away. Nice. Star Fox Adventures. Damn, the GameCube was buzzing in 2002 on a stack, no cap for realsies. Sorry for that one. I only played Lilith Wars at my friend's place before, so when I saw this on the flea market, I bought a lot of my games back in the day on the flea market. I really wanted to get it because it was fun and well, it's very different, and when I had to play as a blue furry girl, I have to be honest, I got a boner. And because the game was fun, that's why I got the boner. I know many people don't like it, and it has many flaws, but I wish they would try a Star Fox game like this again. But we gotta remake the first Star Fox at least 5 times more before someone at Nintendo maybe realizes what to do with the series. The game would be even better though if you could kill Tricky, this tiny little dinosaur. I just hate him. Like, he's a little bit annoying, but for me he's the most annoying. And that little mini game where you have to mash the A button really hard and fast because that section is total bullshit, and I think I remember reading it cheats and it's better not to go hard or something on the A button, but as a kid I didn't know and I legit got stuck there for like a whole time. Maybe my button mashing skills were just bad, but it kinda soured the game for me, but my boner for Crystal made me finish it anyways. Nowadays you can play through the whole game as Crystal thanks to modders, and it turns the game into a true masterpiece instead of just a pretty good game. Time Splitters 2, my favorite local multiplayer shooter of all time, but even the single player had a lot of content and holy heck, getting all the platinum trophies in every challenge made me want to bite my GameCube controller so much sometimes. But luckily I am not a dog, so I don't really bite, but sometimes I have this really big temptation to bite anyways. So many funny characters to pick from, and my personal favorite was the snowman or the calamari. Obviously playing as the monkey was fun too though. And every game with a co-op mode during the single player is a great game in my book, regardless of how bad it is, because with a friend it will be fun. And the single player or multiplayer campaign of Time Square 2 is really fun, except for Neo Tokyo, because 4 stealth sections in a non-stealth game suck. Luckily, like I said, the single player mode of Time Square 2 is good too if you play all by yourself. Anyone else who sometimes played this game in multiplayer all by yourself too and picked two hot girls characters and positioned them close to each other so you could see both models in a nice way and kind of played a different game that way? Only me? Oh well. James Bond 007 Nightfire. Just like Time Splitters 2, this is even more just about the multiplayer. The single player of it is just kinda whatever. Played it here and there, but wasn't the biggest fan of it. But playing this game in multiplayer, that was some good stuff. So many fun maps, especially Skywell, and weapons to use like the guided rocket launcher you can control yourself all over the map with basically. Like shooting one rocket from one end to the next while controlling it. And even had like a mini tank and a helicopter you could use. Playing with golden guns, so every shot is a shot that kills you, telling my friends that Oddjob is banned because of his hat, but picking him anyway since I'm a mandate too, just like him, so I own the rights to pick him. Finding out you can walk on the waves in the Skywell map, so many good memories, and for me this was my golden eye in terms of James Bond games, because well, golden eye didn't really come out for us Germans because it was deemed as too brutal, even though that doesn't even make sense. It's not a brutal game, I think. Dark Cloud 2 or Dark Chronicle. I'm a sucker, and that's not the only thing I suck at, for games with town building elements that are not games like SimCity. Charming story, decent combat, and overall just a fun game. Like it never excels at anything, but as a whole package it just works so well. Even the randomized dungeons don't really matter too much to me. Also great art style, almost on the same level as Wind Waker for me. With really fun minigames too. Like there's Speeder, however you pronounce that, where you basically just play golf in dungeons, and it sounds really dumb, but it's really fun, also kinda hard, in a way. And I say that as someone who normally does not like golf. And those are my top 10 favorite video games of 2002, and damn, the GameCube really rocked that year. Too bad it didn't have much in terms of sales for the little cube. So next time it's gonna be 2003, and maybe that year won't be so dominated by the GameCube. So, see you there, maybe, if you want to. Because you can leave a like or a subscription so you can find it in your abo box or whatever you want to call that thing if I've uploaded about 2003. But only if you want to. Have yourself a good night or evening or morning or whatever time zone it is for you right now. But have a good one in general.